For more than 40 years now, groups of men and the occasional woman have happily abandoned their families at Christmas time to go to sea. They say for the excitement, the challenge, the comradeship of one of the great blue water races. 3 days, give or take a handicap, Sydney to Hobart. Hardly an epic of the sea, more a journey from one party to another. And at journey's end, the elegant old Hobart waterfront becomes, for a few days at the turn of the year, a latter-day Barbary coast.
Well, as it's called, it's a very quiet day. We go to a hotel in the confines of Hobart, and I guess about 1,500, 2,000 blokes and crew members, men and women, get together, and we have a couple of quiet drinks and tell a few yarns and sea stories and sing a few songs. I think the record's something like 25,000 beers in 4 hours or something. Yeah, very quiet sort of thing. Well, it's our one time of the year where we really let our hair down and relax and enjoy ourselves. You know, it has been said that the Hobart Race is the way of getting yachts down to the quiet little drink, but...
I've heard it's a really good time.
What have you heard?
Just heard it's a good time. Heard the Tasmanian people are very hospitable.
I get to take all the guys home when they get drunk, direct them back to their own boats.
In a wheelbarrow.
In a wheelbarrow.
Well, hopefully we're going to be first over, and hopefully by a long way. Someone's going to step aboard with a box of beer, although a box of beer doesn't go very far with 26 in the crew.
Well, they generally inject themselves with several cans of beer pretty quickly, and champagne, and they're generally given a pretty good welcome from their sweethearts and wives, and a lot of waving and cheering and yelling going on, yes.
And you'll have your sweethearts and wives waiting there for you, I guess?
Yes, yes, my wife will be there cheering us on.
Where is he, Ari?
Who, Tony?
Yeah.
Down the first.
Oh, is he?
Nola Fisher, sailor's wife.
She's declaring herself a yacht widow already, and the race hasn't begun.
Yes, right.
There's still a heap of stuff to go ashore.
There you go, Daydream.
Is this cushion coming or going?
Accompanying Tony Fisher is his son, Robbie. Kim, Robbie's wife, and the other women must feel a bit spare now, as sailors' thoughts turn to the sea. All ashore that's going ashore.
Well, Jenny and Larissa are flying down with me. We're flying down on the 28th, and Viv's flying down on the 29th, and Nola's flying down on the 29th. Then we just wait for them. We normally do. Sleep on the dock if need be. So hopefully they'll get in a reasonable hour. So.
And whose first time is it in Hobart?
Well, Larissa and Jenny haven't been before. I don't think Viv has.
Have you got any idea what to expect?
I think what Kim's told. Just a good time. One big party.
And what are you expecting, Kim? What
We're the same as normal. Wait for they arrive, then straight up to the pub, and that's probably where we'll stay till we leave on the 2nd.
Hello. We're offering for you, darling, don't worry. We won't let him get hurt. Only if he does, it'll be us that hurt him. You go. You
you going to go now?
There you go,
She's missing him before we're gone. Yes, no, I think we all get a bit that way. You know, as soon as we see them go, we get a bit, you know, nervous, cheerful, and
Do you worry about them?
Hmm?
Do you worry about them?
Oh, yes, sure. You do worry quite a bit, you know, from excited to see when they get there and how everything goes.
And will you be there to meet them?
I sure will, yes. I'll be there to see them there.
There we are, away. The 43rd AWA Sydney Hobart Classic. And Apollo there in the middle moving well. His Helsel 3 just behind Sovereign.
Hi, hi, the little boat rides on the ocean broad and wide. Low, low, she dips her bow and rises with the morning tide. Three white masses sail make a maid, every stitch to hold it's great. The wind may blow and the rain may fall, but never an inch will give her way.
The yachts enter the River Derwent, which is about 11 miles downriver from here. They come up and go through the finishing line, usually take down their sails in this area out here, and generally the first yacht berths along the seawall here, alongside in there. That's when the maxes finish. We generally try and put yachts of less than 2.2 metres in length down into Constitution Dock here. That will just be a sea of colour, beautiful looking racing yachts, masts, bunting, flags, pennants, and it really looks the part.
Sovereign shows her stern to the rest of the fleet. Landfall, Hobart, is only hours away. And ashore, they're making ready, as though for an invasion.
Sydney AWA Sydney Hobart, first across the line, the Maxi Yacht Sovereign. There is a tradition that we have in Hobart. We'd like you to all join in as the first yacht gets 3 cheers from the people and visitors of Hobart. Hip, hip.
To the victor, the spoils.
It's going to be beautiful. This is going to be good.
I've got the...
We could see she was in trouble, so we just thought we'd try and push a little harder.
I'll get some emotional reaction from you. How does it feel to now win the Hobart?
Oh, it's a tremendous thrill. We won it in '81 and with vengeance, and to do it again is just absolutely marvellous. It's a great thrill.
Do it again, man.
That's all.
Second to arrive, Ragamuffin.
Sovereign, 3 cheers for Ragamuffin. Hooray! 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 Clean your motor out. Hoo, hoo. Where's my beer? Yeah, mate. All day, yeah. Bruce. Probably more.
Oh, yeah, it's like a family. It really is. They're all like brothers to you. You certainly share a kinship with the people that are involved with you. You share intimate secrets with them. You live with them so closely for a couple of days, and you work your backsides out that you see their shortcomings and their longcomings, and you know, you really become firm friends after a Hobart race.
I think the celebration's not what you come do all this thing for, but it just so happens that Tasmania is a very hospitable place to finish a race. The race first started in 1945 as a cruise, and
seriously.
Yeah. The race started as a cruise, and what actually happened in 1945? The guy said, "Oh." We still on this?
I think the celebration started, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it started as a celebration. Everyone liked the whole thing down in Hobart so well, they decided to have the next race. So they had it every year, and we're into about our
Take this outside.
40.
Take it outside, son.
Just a second, if you can hold the cameras, I'll have a wipe down. Where was I?
Thanks, guys.
Now coming into dock, the AWA Sydney Hobart from the Hamilton Island Yacht Club and the Cruising Yacht Club.
Where's Halsey now? Halsey 3.
I'm not expected until 12 o'clock tonight now, so it's getting later and later every skid.
Where were you hoping they might be?
Oh, about 3 o'clock this afternoon would have been nice. Oh well, don't know what the wind conditions are going to do.
Do you ever think they might win?
They never expected to win, not in Hostel 3. They never did. They got here, that was the main thing.
We're out.
Now a little boat is stout and strong, through all weather she'll sail along. Now the rigging's full and the ropes are tight, sail to port with a mass so proud.
So it's probably, what, 3 hours from Tasman Island?
Yeah, so what time would that make it?
Around midnight. Oh well, so it's not worth going to bed tonight.
It's better than the early hours of the morning.
Kim, what are they doing out there?
Heaven's only, I think they're going backwards.
Must be exasperating for you, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, you get one report from someone saying they're going to be in a particular time. The next time it's, a few hours later. You just think they're never going to get here.
Goes on and on and on.
You see all the other boats coming and you're sitting there and just waiting. Where are they? When are they going to get here?
Do people ever get worried?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
All the time. And Rob says, oh, what do you worry about? And it's easy for him. He knows what's going on. But sort of sitting in Sydney or
I
down
think
in
they even
Hobart.
do. My husband told me he had his insurance thing all paid up. The house will be paid off, and this will be paid off. And
You can't help but worry.
Mochi donkey!
Mate, you need a bigger
One, two, three, I'll jump.
Okay. Zip.
Talk him in.
Can I get 3 seconds? Yeah, sure.
All right.
You right? Yeah, no, I'm right. There you go. Excuse me.
Still got quite on.
Okay, Charlie.
when as soon as they got in, I was the first one on. Couldn't get on quick enough. Did I?
It's always she gets most upset if anyone gets on before her.
So was it rough?
Only the end bit, otherwise it was okay.
What,
You're
down the bottom
hanging
of
on?
Tasmania?
Yeah,
Did you wear your thing? Your
Yeah, we walked one
harness?
night and we got stuck in the southwest.
Just tell them what you're doing.
Oh. They're just on such a high they've made it, and they're having drinks and catching up with the other guys from other boats and comparing notes on how they've gone and all that sort of thing.
Holding these 2 cans of beer for somebody to have a drink.
I mean, they're really not interested in us. They give us a kiss and that's it. They've forgotten us until, you know, it's time that they've had enough to drink. We go up to the hotel, and that's when you get a really chance to talk to them and find out what they've been doing and how they really felt about the race. They get a chance to unwind. So you get used to it. You just, you get your kiss and then you just stand around and wait for them.
Oh, I'm going to bed with my wife and I are going back to the hotel. That's where we're going. Yeah.
Going home to bed.
Yes, darling.
What better place?
Certainly. What have we got to get bags?
Boat was pounding that mud. They were just lifting right up, you know. I didn't really think things like that, I didn't think it was that bad.
When we were sitting, coming across the bay, and the whole boat totally lifted out of the water, I thought to myself, this has got to be the end.
I wanted him to do it. And I was just excited.
Little bit.
Especially when he came in, I was just shaking. Wasn't I?
Yeah.
I couldn't stop kissing him.
Okay for romance, but for others, like the crew of Helsall 3, there is business to be settled.
This has been historically and will continue to be for the last 10 years the place where you settle your bets. And we owe several jugs of rum and coke to Rager, who through foul means beat us over the line.
Through what? Through what?
Foul means. Past the boat.
That's Rager. It's a very fast boat.
We want 16 jugs of mutton and repellent slowly. We'll take them as they come. And we've got a tab or something that we can count it up because we'll get forgetful after about 10. So you tell me when we reach 16. Would you do that for me? Mutton murder pellet. Hey, Mick, he doesn't know what mutton murder repellent is and he works at the customs house. Tell him, Mick.
That's a better learn. Better learn. There's going to be a few of them aboard.
All right.
Rum and bit of lamb.
Henry, the greatest critic of it. You'll never see a mutton bird in this bar.
Just remember this one.
We got $50. We need 200, right?
150.
But we'll
150.
200.
200.
No, that'd be silly. Come on.
No, that's we'll collect it tonight.
Break that one. Break that one up, and then we'll take it from there. All right? Beautiful.
Cheers, mate.
Beautiful drink, mate. Mutton bird pellet. Works like a charm. Here's the Helsall 3. Goodies.
We try and drink as much as we possibly can. We normally don't drink during the year. We save it all up for Hobart.
I don't like rum, but I think I'm going to learn this afternoon how to drink rum and coke.
Hey.
Hey.
Haven't heard it already, you realise that Sovereign, of course, has taken handicap honours. We understand this is a record for the fastest time, handicap and first across the line. So let us hear it. 3 cheers for Sovereign. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up.
Oh, they're colossal news for Hobart. Most of them are terrific. You always get a few of the sort of
three-day sailors who think they're mega stars, and this is where the only trouble you get. They'll come down here, and because they've done the first time they've been out of sea, other side of land in their life, and they've done a Hobart-Sydney race, then they come in, they get blind drunk, and they think they're sort of Superman because they've survived 3 days at sea. And this often wears a little thin, especially as they're coming into a fishing port. If you look through the window there, you'll see all the fishing boats out there, and you know, those blokes are all making their living by maybe fishing 200 days a year at sea.
The shotsmen, mate, they're just seamen, you know. We're the heroes, we go out every day. About the yachties, rage. Good time.
It's terrific. It's just fantastic. There's no place like it, especially on New Year's Eve when there's not another New Year's Eve party in Australia like Hobart. It just goes mad.
Come on, Jojo. Hey.
Uh-oh, look out.
Woody, you've been caught again. Ex-employee. Yes, sweet. Oh, yourself? Quite cute. 30 seconds to go. 30 seconds to midnight. Yes, it is. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, give me a big kiss. Tomorrow the exchange livers. Tomorrow in the morning they've got the governor's little cocktail do, which only the chosen few, not us yobbos, go to. And after that there's the QLD, which is the quiet little drink, which this year promises once again to be a rather exceptional and extraordinarily inebriate affair.
A long day in Hobart, this 1st of January. Some go to bed very late, some hardly sleep at all. Some rise early. The city's housekeepers have their worst day of the year, and there's much more to come. The party's far from over.
If someone takes that glass off of your tray, just say whiskey water to make sure they know they're taking whiskey water and not a wine.
The New Year's Day division is as wide as between Saveloys and smoked salmon. The Saveloy set go their way. The smoked salmon set go somewhere else, to Government House, where His Excellency is at home at 11. Then there's a quiet little drink, the party of them all, and well underway.
He steps over into the water and this huge sunfish comes up, regurgitating food, flapping its fins and everything else like that.
He said, do you know what a 69 is? She said, no. What's a 69? He said, a 69's when you go over the top of my...
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all in very good voice this morning, I'm pleased to say. I would like, on behalf of the Tasmanian Government and all Tasmanians, to give you and offer you a very warm welcome here to Government House today.
Well, 3/4 of the boys have already gone home because I think they decided they couldn't live through anymore.
But how are you surviving the celebrations yourself?
welcome.
tough.
What did you stop for? She said, if you think I'm staying down there for 67 more of those, you've got to be kidding.
We're at the Winchief Hotel for the QLD, the culmination of drinking up to the Sydney Hobart Race. Off-colour jokes and heaps of booze.
Beer is best, have another one. Beer is best, fill them up again. It makes you fit and it makes you strong. It puts more muscle in the old pump. Beer builds body babies. Beer has stood the test. What did Adam say to win? But beer is best.
Now it's Hello Sailor in a pub car park. Once, a quiet little drink was just that. Yachties trying to escape the big booze scene found a little pub around the corner. And it all grew from there.
Well, it's a slight understatement, rather like the Darwin Stubby, which is a 26-ounce bottle, except this is about 10 times. It's a mega quiet little drink.
Personally, I don't think it's really part of the Sydney Hobart Race. It's not part of the, drunken orgy is not really part of what we're talking about, I don't think.
Not good for the image of yachting?
No, I don't think so. And that's why I say that there's less and less of the top-class yachts can go to it. You won't find any of it, or you won't find the skipper or sovereign there, I'll bet.
Wrong. Not only is he there, he helps run it.
Normally we've lost control by about 1 o'clock, but it's hanging in there today. We're having good fun and raising a lot of money for charity, so it's great.
You've got to get to the quiet little drink very early. Otherwise it becomes a disaster after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
What did you think of it, Kim?
It's fine for the first hour, listen to the jokes, but then you get so many people in there and it's just beer flying everywhere, you've got to get outside.
It's the old adage. You go out these long races. You get out there, you work like hell. You get wet, cold, miserable, hate it. Pretend you're seasick. Pretend it's really awful. Get to the other end and just party so much and put on all the fat back on that you've lost on the race. And it's
but
it's
when you tell the truth,
they don't want me.
It's not the yacht race. It's the party at the start and the party at the end, isn't it? The bit in the middle is just, get down here. It's cheaper than an airfare.
The bit in the middle keeps the body safe. The rest of it ruins it.
Now on the quay to the pub suite, we'll flirt the girls and promise a heart. But when the ship bell rings our time, we will muster the men from a landlubber's tavern. Hi, hi, the little boat rides on the ocean door.